17 years old when we met.
Yeah,
my brother, one of them, he was one of the pastors that I have in my heritage, or my background. And he was her pastor. And I have a niece that's very forward, and one day she's quite a matchmaker. She always has been. And she was just a year younger than I was. Well, Alice was her best friend. Tell him what happened after that.
Then she introduced us, then we started writing, and then he was on his way to Bible school, and he got snowed in there, so he didn't make it to Bible school. He made it to the Dalles.
I got stuck in the Dalles.
Because it was
and I'll tell you, it was special. Well, it was quite a run between when we got married and started at Faith Chapel in 1963.
We lived in the Dalles for a while, and then he was on his way to the Bible school, and we went to Seattle, and we had the one son then. And he was a baby, so I couldn't go to work, so he tried to sell sterling silver at night and do Bible school during the day. That didn't work too good, so anyway.
And I was so young and naive that I didn't know really what I was doing, but I was bound determined to be a good father, a good husband, and take care of my family. Finally, my older brother, he saw the struggle. He was still pastoring, and he gave me this good advice. He said, "Don, remember this, your family comes first." And he said, "Don, I don't know if you'd ever want to move to California or not, but if you ever had that idea, you could double or triple your wages." I went home and I told Alice about this. And so we put it to prayer. We started praying about it. God, we want your will. We don't care anything about money. We just want your will in our life, because we know that things will work out for us if we're in God's will. So we prayed about it and said, God, if it be your will that we do something like this, that you'll sell our place. We're buying a place out in the country. So I put a little ad in the paper, and it sold in 2 weeks. Not even through a realtor, just in a little ad in the paper. And we got more money out of it than we had put into it. Then I heard that Pastor Gregg had left Linda Vista and went in evangelistic work for a couple of years, and then finished that. And then Troy Blair contacted him, and he had a chance then to go ahead and present the opening of Faith Chapel, of the initiation of it, really. So I called Brother Gregg. I said, if we decided to come to your church, to Faith Chapel, and work there with you, fellowship with you, would we be welcome? And he said, only on one condition. He's a character. He said, that you will agree to be our secretary and treasurer of the church. And I said, oh my goodness, I'd love to, but I don't know how to do that. I can manage our household money, but to do a church, I knew what that involved. I had worked a little bit with that before. He said, well, the district has sent a man in, or we'll send a man in to teach you how to do it. And it's really very easy. You just have a set of books, you open and close them each month. And so I said, well, let me pray about it and I'll call you back. I did. I prayed about it, called back in about a day. And I said, okay, we'll give it a try. Okay, and I'll put my heart into it and see what happens. So that's what we did. We got in there and we did it for 4 years. It was hard, but we did it for the kingdom of God. And he said, oh, we're starting a choir too. Would you guys be interested in singing in a choir? And Alice, she spoke up. She said, yes, we would. Yeah, we would. Because she had sang in high school even way back. And I said, okay. So now we're in the choir and the secretary treasurer, okay? Then they soon wanted me on the board of trustees, because I had to take minutes of all the meetings and so forth. So just one thing led to another. The first thing you know, we're clear up to our Adam's apple in responsibilities and things in the church. And we loved every minute of it, because the church was just growing, growing, growing. I saw our offerings double from week to week, and then turn around and double again the next week. That's how we got in and got going. And we've been going ever since. Always up to about a year and a half or 2 years ago, I finally, because of my hearing loss and some other physical issues, we felt it was time to step aside out of the choir. We'd been in 46 years.
I taught Sunday school class, the 2 and 3-year-olds, for I don't know how many years, a lot of years.
Oh, a long time, wasn't it? Yeah. Alice and I were both altar workers. It had been for years, trained altar workers. To be able to share with them and carefully explain to them what was happening, what it meant to become saved. I'm telling you, I saw the tears coming. That was really one of the biggest thrills I ever had at Faith Chapel. We did that for years. Then my hearing began to get worse and worse and worse. Got to where I couldn't hear all the way. It just tore my heart out that I couldn't do that anymore. But we have some good altar workers today, a lot of them. And I've watched them and I've said, God be with them and help them. They're helping people into the kingdom of God. That's where God had called us. And He never called us away. He hasn't. He has not yet. And I don't expect Him to. But if He does, we're down the road. But it's there. It's there, and we're part of it. And we see all our dear friends. That a lot of them are still there too. Look at the Schoonovers, Clyde and Dorothy. Bless their hearts. They were one of the most faithful people I've ever saw in my life. They kept us in their home when we first moved here with no house, no job, no nothing. You're going to live with us. And we just barely met them. That's the kind of people they are, wonderful people. Mm-hmm. The church is full of people like that. I would say to spend more time in seeking God for His will for your life, instead of just rushing headlong into all the things of life. I know life is quick. I would say to wait on God for His leading in your life. I think that will do you more good than anything else. Mm-hmm. And go to people, godly people, for counseling and encouragement and instruction.